Okay, our next report is our Technology and Innovation Annual Update. We have Dr. Fadjo, who is our Assistant Sup for Instructional Services, and joining him will be our I was almost like double checking myself, our Curriculum Coordinator team, George Lamar from the high school, and Melissa Brown and Tracy O'Sullivan from the middle school, and Kim Schulman from BRS.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. All right. So for tonight, what we wanted to do is kind of give you a couple of parts of what we've been doing in the district, talk a bit about our foundation, dive into our teaching and learning with technology to kind of give you some updates on where the technology has been used, and really get a chance to hear from our buildings. It's exciting to be able to share this. There's a lot of work that's gone into this over the years, and we'll be able to kind of dive into that more. And then the last part here is really to talk about the vision for the future. So where are we right now? And some things that we're looking at as we move forward, because what we've really done, and it's wonderful to be able to stand up here and share this, because we've put so much into the district and invested in such a very thoughtful and meaningful way that we're really well positioned as we move forward into this year and to the coming years. So very excited to share that. Starting off here, really talking about a seamless and reliable instructional technology infrastructure. And we've been doing this in a number of different ways. So of course, the first one and the most visible one is one-to-one devices for all of our students. So with K1, we have our Apple iPads, and then grades 2 through 12. Every student has access to a 2-in-1 touchscreen laptop. And I know our teachers could attest to just how much they're being utilized, which is really something. In addition to that, new this year, we were able to sort of round the corner and put the final touches on having interactive whiteboards in every classroom. We've had smartboards for a long time, and I think what's really nice about this development is we have these beautiful, big, new 75-inch box light interactive displays, and we were able to bring those to BRS in middle school and high school. And so now in every single classroom in the district, we have these boards as well as wireless casting, which really speaks to the seamless integration, the idea that a teacher can go from classroom to classroom, and they can cast as well as students. And I know a lot of teachers have been utilizing that. Another piece of the foundation is our investment in our multifunction devices. So these devices are, right now we have one vendor, and we have recently contracted with a new vendor, CBS Xerox. And so we're looking at these devices being delivered sometime in the first half of this year. The second part of the foundation, and it's kind of a big theme, you'll sort of see it crop up from time to time throughout the presentation, is as we get these devices and as they're connected to the internet, we're really seeing a lot of emphasis on cloud-based technologies. Something that's really been exciting for us here, and you'll notice by the picture, kind of looks like an iPad. This new ClassLink platform has really been a chance and a way for us to put all of the apps together and present them to students in a very clean, consistent, simple way to access all of these different apps that they use from class to class. And so you'll see that there are 100 apps that are in this platform. It's customizable to students, so it's not necessarily that every student will see 100 apps. Third graders will see a different dashboard, if you will, or sort of array of icons than you would see for an 8th grader or an 11th grader, as well as the rostering. And for what that means is if a certain app has to have student information in it, so if there's a login credential, ClassLink helps out with that. So that's been very exciting. The next part here is our management of our different systems. So one that we've adopted and we have fully embraced is Microsoft Intune. We're actually the first district in the region and one of the very first in the state to adopt this. And as of right now, there are about 7 or 8 districts in Westchester that are moving in this direction. So it's been nice for us. We saw the benefits when we started to transition to a lot of technology, and now we're seeing the benefits of this cloud-based system for managing our devices. The other piece that we see here is the software called PaperCut, and that's going to be a cloud-based solution for managing all of our printers. And that includes those big multifunction devices that I just mentioned, as well as every single individual printer that we see throughout the district. So it's a nice investment. It's a budget neutral move, and it's a fiscally responsible move, because now we have more centralized oversight of what's being used in terms of resources.
That's great.
From there, some of the other pieces, we have our communications platform. So I don't think there's a person here that has not seen Opera. We use that in multiple ways. It's been wonderful. Excited to share that both the middle school and Bedford Road have started to use S'more. That's a new newsletter platform that allows for images as well as accessibility and translation. So multiple language translation options on that platform. It's really a very nice experience if you look at them. I love seeing the middle school newsletter, and I'm sure the families are enjoying them. And I imagine you've received quite a bit of feedback, so that's been nice. And then the other platforms that we have, School Messenger, K-12 Alerts, Seesaw Schoology. This has been a big push for our strategic plan as phase 1 as well as phase 2. So we continue to make that investment and really see the benefits of that. The last part of our foundation really speaks to the fact that we have all of these different pieces, and we really need to have a way to make sure that we're safe and secure. I think that's probably one of our biggest tensions, right? As we add more technology, we want to go, but we always have to just make sure we're being very thoughtful and very safe with what we adopt, how we're dealing with data. It's part of our law, but it's also something that we care deeply about. You know, and the first one that we talk about here is this data protection and planning, and this is around Ed Law 2D, which was adopted in 2019. And as we continue to roll out and continue to work towards making sure all of our systems are up to date and secure, we've been working with the Lower Hudson Regional Information Center. They offer a data protection officer support service. We've been utilizing that. So some of the things that come out of that is if you go to our website under Parents and Community, you'll see data privacy and security, and there are lists of all the software that we use, as well as the contracts that we've executed with these different vendors. So we have those solutions there. Another piece that we invest in is the RIC1 data privacy and security service. And that's really beneficial to us because it's sort of a just-in-time notification. So if there's any sort of statewide or nationwide emergency around cybersecurity or any kind of threat, that service allows us to get that information. Some other areas where we invest are securing devices with Windows security, and then we have our virus and threat protection, as well as Lightspeed, which is our filter. And so that filter is continually monitoring sites because it's sort of this ever-evolving thing, and you know, they love to tout the artificial intelligence, but we see the benefit of that when new sites come up where we need to make sure content is secure. The last part here is the staff and student training, and we want to make sure not only are we adopting these solutions, but we're making sure that our community is prepared to react or support as necessary. So we do have training for staff through GCN, as well as in our classes at BRS in the middle school and the high school, using platforms such as BrainPop, Common Sense Media. So that's really kind of our foundation, right? The next part here speaks to our strategic plan and what we've been doing to make sure that we have this culture of innovative, civic-minded, creative students and thinkers using this technology. We've been very intentional throughout our work in the technology department, working with the curriculum coordinators to say, what does this investment look like? And how are we using these technologies in a meaningful way? So at the foundation, we have our learning management systems. So we have Seesaw, we have Schoology, and these tools are really a way for us to manage that classroom experience with the technology. And similar to Opera, everybody here has sort of seen those tools in action, but to give you an idea of sort of the breadth of what they cover, we have communication and organization, so it really becomes a way for students to communicate with their teachers. I know I receive messages from students from time to time if they have some sort of a technical issue, as well as our technicians. So communication really opens up there. Some new features that I've seen in action that teachers love, and the students as well, is the interactivity with Kami, which lets students sort of write on PDFs, and Seesaw does that. So something as simple as that really adds to the classroom experience. As well as the assessment and reflection functionality in the platform, getting that teacher feedback, the rubrics, as well as the portfolios. I know especially with Seesaw, there's a lot of work and investment in the student portfolios. And then with the student creation, the presentation that we just saw was created using Canva from our student government. So it's kind of nice when we see that and we can sort of see it in action. So there are ways for students to create with presentations as well as to collaborate. So what you see up here on the screen, there are a lot of icons. There's a lot of things going on, and it's really very exciting because as we continue to build out these solutions and bring these tools into the classroom, we're finding that our teachers are discovering new ways to engage and have students explore. So whether it's a science simulation, using something like iCivics for civics lessons, and that actually comes from the Supreme Court, and Sandra Day O'Connor, I believe, founded iCivics, so, and as well as Epic or Book Creator, Sora. So there's a lot of different tools for literacy or for publishing. World languages, we've seen a lot of different tools being utilized. Senior Wooly is a very popular one. It's kind of fun when you walk down the hall and they're all singing. It's kind of quite an experience. Math study skills, and everything that you see that's highlighted in green, there's a green box around it, that's new for this year. So Blookit and Padlet, for instance, are new solutions that our teachers have found and really embraced, as well as in our art classes and music classes, Procreate, and an investment that we made this year that the art department loves, really. On multiple occasions, they've said how much they enjoy the iPads with the Apple Pencils and what that has done for the art program. And the remark has been that it doesn't take away the pen and paper, but it gives them another tool. So if they want to be able to take that similar experience and translate it, they have that. So it's been a very nice piece to add that. And so at this point, I'm going to hand it off to Kim Schulman, our BRS curriculum coordinator, to talk a little bit about our continuous learning.
Thank you, Cameron. And good evening. BRS is known for providing rich opportunities for all of our students. What technology does is it allows students who may not be able to attend school to be a part of programs. It is in a time of such uncertainty, what is most important is that we provide flexibility and engagement for all of our students. Just today, second grade students had a BOCES program on frogs, turtles, and snakes. Students who were not able to attend school today were able to partake in the program. Students were able to zoom into the program to experience just as if they were in the classroom. Through the use of technology, students, whether they're in school or out of school, were able to have such a wonderful engagement and an opportunity with like the other students. So it was a really kind of all came together today to see students who were not able to attend school. They were involved in the activity of the snakes toads and frogs, just as the other students. I'm going to now pass it over to Tracy O'Sullivan for the middle school.
All right, tilt that down.
See? I got you. I got you. I got it. Hi, everyone. Oh, this is really on. So one of the biggest challenges that the middle school has found over the past few years is it has been impossible, nearly impossible, to bring our students outside of the classroom like we used to go on field trips. However, fortunately, our teachers have reached out to experts, to artists, to organizations to bring the outside learning into the classroom via virtual visits on some of our streaming platforms. Back in November, our 8th grade social studies students were learning about immigration, and that unit usually chronicles the time period between like the late 1700s all the way through modern day. And our social studies teachers, James Carey and Lindsay Ehrman, reached out to the Edward Kennedy Institute that's based in Boston, Massachusetts. And they were able to have their experts bring us, our students, the Pathways to Citizenship program, which basically simulates a debate, just like our federal and state leaders debate the Pathways to Citizenship. It made that learning authentic for our students. It brought them a tangible reason to have these debates. It was spirited, it was lively and engaging. And even when we are able to go out of the classroom again as a group, the teachers had said that they really want to continue to do this because it casts a net that is far wider to access all of these people that we wouldn't have access to otherwise using the technology. I'm going to turn over to Melissa.
And good evening. I'm going to continue with what Tracy started about middle school virtual visits. And I wanted to bring it to you in light of a story. And we want to hear the text evidence, the supporting details of what does this really mean in the middle school chapter? What is technology and education looking like in our building? And so I wanted to share our global read aloud, which our 6th graders participated in this year. We explored a novel called The Jumbies, and it takes place, it's Caribbean folklore, and the setting is the Caribbean. So our students went on a virtual tour of Caribbean islands. Our students heard an audio recording of the novel through a narrator who spoke the most beautiful, eloquent English, but with a French Caribbean accent. I could never have done that. So I thank the technology that we were able to bring to our students to actually experience that culture and the language. We conducted polls in our classrooms through Schoology polling, and it was instantaneous on that big, beautiful True Touch screen in our classrooms, the votes that came in as we voted on certain aspects of characters or perspectives. We also used a shared Padlet, and Cameron had mentioned Padlet as one of our tech tools. And Padlet has been a great interactive tool for us. It's very versatile, and we used Padlet to create an actual stamp collection, a virtual stamp collection, that we will be presenting to the author. Again, we've worked hard to bring in, and we will continue to grow. I look forward to growing and bringing experts in the field into our classrooms beyond our school walls. We can do that. The silver lining of COVID has really expedited that opportunity for us. So our opportunities have grown immensely as a result of COVID. I'm going to always see that silver lining. And so I look forward to the author of the novel that we read. I had to bring it here to show you it's real. It's tangible. And even though we explored it virtually, our children had the option to touch this book, because I thank you for the funds to buy some copies, hard copies. And each class, the children were offered either grab a copy of the real thing, or let's look at it through Epic Books, because each child had, thank you, Cameron, for getting Epic Books up and running in the nick of time when we started our global read aloud this fall. And they had a digital copy where they could enlarge the print however they wanted to. They could turn the pages along with that narrator so eloquently narrating the novel with her French accent. So I am thrilled to say that we are growing. We have more to grow, more to learn. Every day, the kids come in and show me something unique and different in the classroom that's tech-related. We think together, we learn together. I don't think my classroom is any different than the majority of us in each of our school buildings. So thank you. One final closing remark. We are going to have Tracy Baptiste in. I've been emailing with her. I flashed the emails in front of the kids and their jaws dropped. They cannot wait for her to come and join our class this spring. She's committed to coming. We're in the middle of the contract. So again, it all boils down to how are we spending our funding? And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing us to bring this author to our school. The cheers that exploded in the room when they heard she's coming. She is a celebrity. She truly is a celebrity. And she's a celebrity for two reasons. It's the eloquent, beautiful book and novel she wrote that was celebrated around the globe. Children all around the world participated. Not only that, it was the technology tools that we were able to utilize and integrate into our lessons that made the novel just come alive for our learners. I think of what it would have been like 25 years ago, and it would have been beautiful, and it would have been a lovely novel to read, but the enriching opportunities our kids have because of our technologies is exponential compared to what it was once was. And we have to remember that child that sits before us is incredibly different than the child of 25 years ago. So thank you to all of you, my colleagues, and everyone sitting before me, and all of you out there in the community for supporting us and our work. We work tirelessly. I wouldn't lie. I'm exhausted. We are all exhausted, but we're making it happen on behalf of the children we teach each and every day. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to pass the torch to Mr. Lamar, who's going to share a very compelling high school chapter in this novel.
Yes, very compelling indeed. Thank you. So the team's done a great job, in my opinion, of trying to outline really, age-appropriate technology use and starting foundational, that introduction, and then that exploratory exposure in the middle school. And then what we're starting to see really in the high school is that application of technology. And if we could go to our high school slide. How do I do that? Bang, right here? There, I didn't see it in front of me. There we go, I didn't see it, it was hiding. When we look at our STEM classes and we look at some of the technologies that we're using, what we're starting to see across the board is this shift towards more project-based learning. And this shift really started to pick up speed in 2020 when we went home and we were remote. And the question high school teachers started asking themselves is, instead of how can we prepare students for the exam, which the AP was around the corner and regents were coming, to how can we engage students? And we started having small group conversations and meetings on teams, and that spiraled into the following year, and this concept of project-based learning really picked up speed. And what we're doing is we're starting to see it now seep into all departments. Typically we saw it residing in humanities, but now the STEM courses using Pivot interactive labs, simulating chemistry simulations in honors and AP level classes, analyzing Logger Pro through the use of veneer probes in physics classes, having students write codes, building codes out through the Python programming class, and developing something where when you, like a fake Amazon account, when you put in apples and your amount, the kids are writing these codes to produce the prices. What we're also seeing is, if you take a look at the pre-calculus, where students are engaging with applications such as Desmos, and there's Peppa Pig there. So here we have kids writing, creating linear functions, creating designs, which is something that it's not only engaging, but it's also preparing them for the course and preparing them for the future. In the humanities, we're also seeing creation tools where we're using Book Creator I have a foreign language example here with me today. We have students using their research skills. We have students working throughout the various programs that Dr. Fadjo had mentioned earlier. And there is one specific project I do want to show you. So it comes from our AP Government class. And in that class, students were broken up into teams. And what they needed to do is develop a presidential campaign, which meant they needed to research the issues, they needed to create their own platform, they needed to garner not only student support, but faculty support, where faculty were asking them questions, and then they needed to leverage the technology to provide appropriate messaging. So what you're gonna see here is a quick 1-minute campaign ad that several students put together. Now keep in mind, this is during December where we had students in and out of school for various reasons, and this is what they were able to create. So, and that's a canvas. So as you see, it's very cute. You know, it's civic-minded, it's responsible, it's innovative, it's everything we're really asking our students to do and create. That group, unfortunately, they did not win the election despite the tremendous campaign ad that they did create. But it just goes to show you what they're really capable of, and they learned a tremendous amount, you know, through these different projects that we're starting to really, you know, get a full head of steam on. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
So, so Dr. Fadjo, before you go, I just want to add to Mr. Lamar. These groups of kids bombarded district office with their petitions for the campaign. They came down with their campaign managers. They came down with themselves, and we were like, remember we were quizzing them? We're like, okay, we'll practice. Whoever was in the office, we're like, Spill, what's your campaign? What are you running on before we sign off on anything? So they didn't just put it together on the technology, like they were on foot, running around, getting their petition signed, and we weren't obviously just gonna sign, your name on something, like what am I endorsing here,
Yeah.
So they ran their campaign
their platform,
verbally.
huh?
What's that?
They knew their platform.
They had to,
That's the
'cause-
best part is when you ask them the questions and they look at you, deer in headlights, and they'll say, we'll come back to you with
Right.
with that. And that's the beauty of it. It's the critical thinking component and defend their issues in a strategic manner. And, we're seeing this all across the curriculum. We're seeing this in our global classes, in our U.S. history classes. We're seeing this in our English classes with the debate and literature that they're being exposed to. And technology is just the means on how to display the knowledge. So it's really a lot of fun what we're seeing happening. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
And so I'll just close off with just a couple of points here. And it's nice because really our vision is starting to come to life, really, where we're headed. We really want to see this technology be used in different places and in different ways. And yeah, that's really kind of where we're going. Of course, we want equitable access and making sure that every student has the resources and tools that they need to succeed. I also want to give a quick shout out. Jane McGowan, our assistive tech specialist, is here as well. And she does a tremendous job supporting our students, really. Thank you. Now, and that equity across all of our classrooms and for every student, as well as authentic project-based learning. And we saw it, and that's where we're headed. Just to kind of queue up a couple of things what we're thinking about next, because as things evolve and as we adopt more technology, some of the things that we're keeping in mind is evaluating our current Wi-Fi system. The Wi-Fi system we have here, we put in 8 years ago, which doesn't seem like a long time ago, but in technology world, it starts to sort of show a little bit. But that's, you know, that's the nice thing is really circling back to the beginning. We built that foundation. We were very intentional, and it's fantastic because when we get to those conversations, it's not saying, oh gosh, well, where are we? How much do we have to kind of catch up? We're there, which is really very exciting.
Which is amazing considering 8 years ago, we did not have a device for every student and a device for every teacher and staff
Exactly.
member. So
Yes.
that was a well-designed set of infrastructure to be able to allow us to ramp up to the point where we are today, where
Yeah.
we have so many devices on the system, and they work.
And it's truly a
great job.
testament to that investment and that thoughtfulness and the work of the board and the community, truly. So another area, we are actually looking at upgrading our machines to Windows 11. So that's another thing that's on the horizon. And then cybersecurity is something we're always aware of, and there are, you know, things that we need to keep in mind, and two-factor authentication, so that way, you know, like when you go to the bank on your computer and it says sign in now, you know, you'll get a text message and enter that second code. That's the kind of thing that we need to implement from the technology administration side to make sure that our systems are secure and safe. So with that, I'll say thank you so much, and we've covered a lot of ground, and I appreciate the time.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, teachers, and thank you to our tech team for all your hard work every day.